Hello, my name is Michael Fazio and I live in the Florida Keys, and I have been here for 15 years. Before I moved here, I had clear skin. When I first moved here, within a year I developed bleeding lesions over most of my body, but especially in my hair and scalp and groin area. The person that I was working for, once they realized what was happening to my body because I couldn't show up for work, explained to me that if I drank distilled water, it would help, if not clear up the situation. I had never heard of this before, but I tried it, and within an additional year, my body went from open bleeding lesions throughout my entire scalp, groin area, and my hands and feet, arms and underarms, to a clear skin. I drank distilled water for approximately 6 or 7 years after that and tried stopping the distilled water treatment drinking. That's all I drink is distilled water for that period of time. No alcohol, no soda, no candy, no bug spray, no beer. Nothing but distilled water and coffee. Okay, I stopped the distilled water process for about 3 or 4 weeks and noticed the lesions coming back. I called up the Tallahassee water supply, people in charge of the drinking water, and they denied that the water had anything to do with it that came from the tap. I went back on a distilled water regimen, and within about 6 months all the marks and lesions that came back in less than 3 to 4 weeks of drinking tap water disappeared. But it did take several months for it to disappear, and then they disappeared. About 3 years ago, I ran out of distilled water for less than 5 days. I said, well, how bad could it be to drink the tap water? Aside from it tasting horrible and you have to mix in some other type of sweetener or flavoring, in that 3-day period, I started breaking out in bleeding lesions in my scalp, along the edge of my scalp, where you can see it is the worst now. Now, that was several years back, 3 or 4 years possibly, but not much longer than that. In September, Winn-Dixie stopped selling distilled water. So I said, well, let me see how bad this will get and how long it will take, because I'm going to have to move if it persists, because it's the water here. There's no doubt about it. Because in New York, I didn't have a blemish on my body. So I let it go since September. Here is what happened since about the end of September. And I'm going to put the camera on the tripod, and then I'm going to show you the entire scenario, what's happening. Since the end of September until today, which is May 21st, this is what happened. Now this is going into my ear as well, because it makes my ear fill up with wax, because apparently it has to do with the entire organ called the skin. Now, one person says it looks like psoriasis, and in fact it does. However, the psoriasis that it appears to be is caused by drinking the tap water out of the Florida Keys drinking water supply. And I didn't know until 2 weeks ago that you could purchase these little marks here these little scabs are what it starts out as. And last week there were only 3 or 4 on my chest. And this is what my chest looks like, well, 10 days ago. And this is what my chest looks like now. A month ago, my back started bleeding when I put a white t-shirt on. I noticed it. And I knew I had problems, but within the 3 previous months it had gone exponentially worse, as did my elbow, where 2 weeks ago, 15 days ago, at the beginning of May, I had 1 blemish on the bottom of my elbow. 1 small blemish about 1/4 of an inch. And this has occurred within the last 3 weeks. I wish that this was all that was wrong. But what you're going to see now may not be so pretty, but this is what is occurring to my body. And it got worse in the last 5 weeks. It seems as if twice as much surface area is encompassed each week as the week before. So if I lose 4 square inches of skin, a month ago I lost 8 square inches of skin. The next week, 16 inches of skin the week after, because this was not like this 3 months ago. And I don't know how well you can see what's occurring, but this is what is occurring on my back, and on the back of both legs, and in my groin area, which is a little bit embarrassing, to say the least. Now I'm going to show you the back of my legs to show you that what my back itself looked like the back of my legs approximately 6 weeks ago. But now this is happening on both legs. And pieces of skin just fall out off my body, big enough where I can feel them hit my feet. And this is my belly button. Which is totally embarrassing. Now, I only discovered the ability to buy a distilled water maker 3 weeks ago, because I didn't know about that before. I just bought water from Winn-Dixie. But 3 weeks ago I ordered a distilled water maker, and I started drinking distilled water again approximately May 16th. This much damage occurred to my belly button within a period of less than 4 months. 4 months ago my belly button was clear. It is almost as if this disease, or whatever it is, moves around in stages. And I'm not going to show you my groin area, but it's not much better. I spoke with the fella up in Tallahassee named Ed Beringer, and he told me that I might be a little bit paranoid about the water supply. I wish Ed Beringer could have some of this. And if he could see, with these things that are occurring to my face, all over my, it seems where there is creases, it happens further and faster. But I wish Ed Beringer from the Florida Tallahassee water supply could get a little bit of this so that he could understand what it is that's occurring.